I'm gonna try my best not to get angry during this video, but no guarantee. Hey guys, Melinda here. It is finally October, which means it's Halloween all month. I don't care what anybody says, it's Halloween all month, and I'm very excited. If you couldn't tell by my shirt, it says boo, and it has spiders on it. Oh, I'm just so excited. Halloween is my favorite holiday. It's my favorite month of the year. I decided that I want to do something very special this month. All of my content is going to be spooky related or Halloween related, including my bonus content, so I'm very excited. Stay tuned for all of those videos. In particular to the movie reviews, I want to watch a horror movie every single day for the entire month, and I'm going to be reviewing them all here. Now, I did this 2 years ago and I lumped it all into one video. It's 25 horror movie reviews that I did. Movie reviews coming out every single Friday, and I will have a different movie for each day, and collectively when it comes out, since Halloween is on Saturday, this will come out the Friday before, so 30 movie reviews for you guys in 1 month. I do want to attempt a TV review. It's so much harder to do TV because it takes so much longer. Today we are starting with 2 movies. All of the movie reviews after this will be 7. I thought I would start off with a bang. I watched the original Poltergeist from 1982. My original thought was that I was going to watch the first Poltergeist and then watch the remake that they did, I think, in 2015. But the 2015 I'd have to rent for $4. I want to find free content that I can tell you guys about so you can go watch it yourselves. I scratched that idea, and when I actually finished watching the first Poltergeist, it recommended I watch Poltergeist 2. I didn't even know that they made sequels, and apparently there's a third one too. But today I am just going to be talking about Poltergeist 1 and Poltergeist 2, the other side. And because I am going to be talking about multiple movies, no trailers during the entire month just because that will take so much time, and I'm going to try my best to really limit what I say about the movies. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's talk about Poltergeist. This is streaming on Netflix for free. If you guys have that streaming service and you want to go watch it and you haven't seen it, I recommend. I honestly love the classic horror films that come to mind. Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Amityville Horror, Poltergeist. And that's one of the reasons why I've been wanting to watch this for so long. We are gonna jump right into the specifics. The acting is so bad. I'm not exactly sure why, or if the director or whoever told these people to play these characters this way, it just came across so cheesy and tacky and awful. In serious moments of the film, you could see that the actors are laughing and smiling when they shouldn't be. Like, it's supposed to be a serious moment, and it makes me as an audience member not take it seriously because I can see that the actors aren't taking it seriously. Look, I've already gotten mad. So this is just me being really picky. Everyone knows of the famous scene of the little girl putting her hand on the static of the TV. The light that was coming off of the TV was so unrealistic. It was like a crazy flash show happening in this dark bedroom. With the static on the TV, yes, it's going to generate light and kind of have like a flashing motion, but it was just so over dramatized. It really threw me off because I'm looking at it like, this is not what TV light would look like. You're making it look like a rave right now. There's 5 characters in this film, 5 main characters: mom, dad, teenage daughter, 2 little kids, boy, girl. The things that the parents let these kids get away with is unrealistic. So throwing food at each other when they're sitting at the table, that is just something that I picked up on a lot while watching this film, is that the dynamic of this family just didn't feel like a real family. Little things that kids would do that would get them in trouble, the parents just didn't care. They just laughed at it. So that just made it feel a little unrealistic to me. There was something else that bothered me about this film. There were some moments that were very dragged out and overly dramatic. There's a scene when the camera is zoomed in on the bedroom door. The mom is closing the door. We actually see her slowly close the door and turn the knob, pull the door closed, releases the knob, and walks away. I kid you not, this probably took a minute of the movie time. This is way too long for a simple moment like this. And there were so many moments like that in the film, and I just don't understand why they did it. One thing that this film did have going for it is that they picked a very good little girl. She was very creepy, played the part very well. Along with the terrible acting, the special effects were also terrible. I know this is because it's an 80s movie and technology has advanced so much that the special effects then are totally different now. Just watching it now in the future, it just looks so tacky. The entire film kind of happens rather quickly. One day that the girl is talking to the TV. The next day, the girl is talking to the TV again, and the poltergeist gets released. The next day, all of the activity of the poltergeist starts. I like the fact that it happens so quickly because normally it takes a while for it to build up, and normally the family doesn't even see it at first, but they saw it right away. It was a very active poltergeist. But then at the same time, I also didn't like the fact that it did happen so quickly. As much as I loved how quickly we got to see the activity and the family picked up on it, a week would have been a good time frame for this to continue, at least show that some kind of time has passed. It just felt very rushed and bizarre considering they have all of these moments, such as the doorknob. For a minute, we just see it close. The timing in this movie is completely off about certain moments. Oh, you can see me getting frustrated again. I'm gonna move on. There is a side story involving the neighbors that I felt it was very unnecessary. You could have completely taken out those neighbors and the film would not have changed whatsoever. That is something that should have changed. They should have just removed those neighbors. There's a moment when all of the characters are awake in like the middle of the night. It's dark out, it's very quiet in the house, nobody's sleeping, but yet all the characters are whispering. Why? What is the point of that? You can have a character speak softly, but you don't have to have them whisper. I really had to turn the volume up on my TV just so I could hear them. It would make sense if somebody was sleeping, but they were all awake. So I just didn't understand why they were whispering to each other. There's a oh my gosh, this one had me laughing. So they gave the poltergeist lion roars. If you want the poltergeist to be scary, give him a growl. Give him like an unrecognizable sound. They gave him a lion roaring as his sound. That just got me laughing because that's all I thought was a giant lion, and I should not think that about a big, scary, unnatural phenomenon and supernatural force. I shouldn't be laughing. I should be scared. Something that I realized about this film, poltergeists have to originate from somewhere. They had no explanation as to where this poltergeist came from. That also bothered me. I'm big on the how and the why, and I want that explanation, and they didn't have it. They just had this poltergeist come out of nowhere. But when you get into researching and actually understanding supernatural forces, a poltergeist is supposed to originate from something and from somewhere. I couldn't let go at the end of the film. Last note on this film, and then I'll move on to the second one. They have a teenage daughter, and I absolutely hated her character. She had no effect whatsoever to this family or to the story. She would scream nonstop. She would help in no way. She was very irritating and annoying and the worst actor out of all of them. She irritated me. She very much irritated me. So with that, we're gonna move on to the second film. Poltergeist II: The Other Side came out in 1986. This, unfortunately, is not on Netflix. It is streaming free on Amazon Prime if you do have that. If you do have that access, you can go watch the second and the third film. I will be talking about the third film next week. Stay tuned for that. I will be talking about the third movie as well. This film came out in 1986. 4 years after the original film. You can clearly see the kids have grown up, they've matured, and they've aged a lot, but within the story, it's only been a year. That kind of really threw me off because these kids are so much more mature now and they're acting mature, but yet they're only supposed to be a year older. You could see that they were really trying to act younger than they were, and they struggled with it. That is probably one of my biggest critiques about the second film. By the way, I hated the second film. I didn't like anything about it. The beginning of the movie was very weird. Personally thought that it did not relate to the film whatsoever. It didn't add anything. It did create a smooth transition into introducing a new character and that kind of storyline, but I feel that they could have done a different route. One thing that I'm so happy about, because I just talked about how much I hated the teenage girl in the first film, she disappeared in this film. I don't know where she was. She wasn't in it whatsoever, and there was no mention of her, so it's like they tried to pretend that she didn't exist, I guess. Maybe the writers agreed with me that she had no contribution to the first film, and she was very awful and irritating, and so they decided to take her out. I don't know. Just an idea. There were moments in this film that the actors were overacting, especially in very dramatic scenes and moments. They were very overacting it. They did have an interesting storyline of they gave the poltergeist like an actual human form. He's trying to manipulate the family and trick them and get into their lives. I thought that was an interesting route, and I definitely wasn't expecting it. Well, at first I wasn't expecting it, but then I picked up on it very quickly that it was him, that it was the poltergeist. I just thought it was a very interesting idea and route that they took with the film. But then that leads into my next point, and that I got very annoyed with the actions of the poltergeist. I feel in this film, they completely forgot the meaning of a poltergeist. The literal definition of a poltergeist is a noisy ghost that has the capability of moving objects, messing with the lights, stuff like that. They just completely forgot what a poltergeist was because they were having it do all of these crazy things. I know it is a movie and they can do whatever they want, but I'm just saying a poltergeist physically cannot do that, and it really infuriated me. At this point, it's not a poltergeist anymore. It's clearly something else, but they're still using the title poltergeist, which is just really frustrates me to no end. In this film, they finally explain where the poltergeist comes from, which I think they should have introduced in the first film. It shouldn't have taken this long. Why are we just now getting this in the second film 4 years later? This should have been at the end of the first film. I'm just saying. I could tell in this movie that they really struggled to come up with side stories for these characters, because you have to have some kind of side plot that's going on to help progress the film. The side stories just kind of were unnecessary and didn't really add anything to the film. And then really my last thought is it had a similar plot device such as to Amityville Horror, and that's why, again, I think that the writers struggled with this story and didn't know what to do, how to make it dramatic and intense. I felt they could have possibly taken the idea of Amityville Horror and added it into this film, which I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that I could reference that and think the movies coincide with each other, so there's also that. And then the last thought is that very cheesy, over dramatic film that just was not a big fan of. Overall, Poltergeist, absolutely recommend for everybody to go watch just because it is such a classic horror film that people think about when they think of classic films. The second one, terrible. Do not recommend. Just stick with the first one. Again, I will be watching and reviewing the third one as well, which I will do next week. So stay tuned for that. If you do have any recommendations of what you want me to watch, if I haven't seen it already, I will absolutely do that. So please leave that down in the comments down below. If you like this video, if you like the movies, or if you like what I'm doing with my channel this month, then go ahead, give this video a big thumbs up. It would absolutely mean the world to me. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already and you want to see more content, more Halloween fun stuff coming soon. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Live life, always laugh, and enjoy the journey. Bye. Oh gosh. Imagine what happens when we get to 7 films. Ugh.